Friday feeling time. Friday feeling.
Yeah.
It feels like an awesome Friday. I'll tell you why. But today we're talking about cruising, one Chevy dealer versus the sun, and retail stores continuing to close.
Oh,
Still.
Whoa.
Still happening. I think some people thought we got by that a little bit.
Yeah, they were like, post-pandemic, it's all coming back.
We're good. Well,
And Chicago was like, nah. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, kick them while they're down, Kyle. Kick them while they're down. Hey, let me just mention the fact, if you're watching today, you might notice something really unusual, and that's that I have a light color shirt on.
I was literally going to say that. I was like, whoa.
And I'm not even, Danielle walks in, she goes, "Are you on vacation today?" And I don't know about it because it was 85 degrees in Syracuse yesterday. It was warmer than
are you kidding me?
85 and sunny all week. It's been it's going to be 85 and sunny again today. No humidity. It's like perfect.
Wow.
But we walked somewhere and I had my black t-shirt on and jeans. And I was like, this is terrible. Crushed. I hate the heat. I get melted. So I was like, not today. Not today. I probably won't leave this office all day though.
Not a chance. Go on vacation with the light shirt. Unbelievable.
That's what she was like. Are you on vacation? I don't know about.
Must be on vacation.
I know.
Oh, you know someone who never takes vacation, or at least it seems like, that's David Long. And we got to talk about that all because look, we know what it takes to put together a show every single day.
We do.
And it's hard work because we're traveling and we're moving, and sometimes we're doing things on the road or at night or different things like that. But for a live show to go on 100 weeks every Friday, same exact time. Like sometimes we start a little early, a little late, depending on what our schedule. But start at the same exact time. David Long's Clubhouse, all things used cars, that we get to power, and we just get to get our whole team behind it. Recap that whole 9 yards is having its 100th episode a day. So if you're listening to the pod, watching it, anything like that, make sure and jump over to Clubhouse, check it out. The title of today, I'm excited about. It's just getting really refining on used cars acquisitions. It's a topic that we can't grow old on for sure.
Nope, can't talk about it too much. All right. Let's get into the news because we're gonna get over to a show in just a minute here, or just a few minutes. I almost spilled my water. That would have been amazing. All right.
Amazing.
GM-backed autonomous vehicle company Cruise is set to enter rapid growth phase, targeting a revenue goal of $1 billion in revenue by 2025. That is the money. Cruise surpassed 1 million driverless miles as of February, which is a lot of miles.
Wow.
They've been operating more than 300 autonomous vehicles in 3 markets: San Francisco, Austin, Texas, and Phoenix. When you and I were in Phoenix last, we tried to catch one, and the place we needed to go was just outside there.
It was unfortunate.
It's a shame because we were like, we're doing this. You're downloading the app. Like we're going to ride this.
We'll make it happen.
The focus now, though, that they've had all this experience and kind of understanding of how it operates, is to shifting to scaling operations into new cities while preparing for volume production of the little, kind of capsule on wheels. It's called the Origin, by the way. At GM's factory in Detroit, according to calculations by Sam Abuelzamade, I think that's it, principal research analyst at Guidehouse Insights. Cruise will need 5,500 to 6,000 vehicles operating on a daily basis to achieve that $1 billion revenue target. So you think about it, they have 300 now, they got to get to 6,000. It's a lot. It's a lot of increase. It assumes Cruise operates in 10 cities with 550 to 600 vehicles in each. Pretty easy math. Instead, he thinks a needed charge fare of about $2.50 a mile to reach it. And he says all of this is realistic. So
it seems realistic. Obviously the biggest barrier to their success is litigation, right? Because
are we allowed to do this?
There's no doubt that a company like GM can produce that number of vehicles in the timeline. There's no doubt that the charging $2.50 a mile is in line with.
Yeah. Have you been in an Uber lately?
Without a doubt. You're good to go there. Getting 550 to 600 new vehicles into a city from like a pipeline and all of that's the easy part. It's definitely the litigation, figuring out what those cities are. that are willing to accept this technology and put it in play with all the other drivers around, whether or not you've got, all of the things from safety regulations dialed in. But I still like, if they've got the proof case, they've driven 1 million miles, they know exactly what they can and can't do in those cities. It's like the beta's done.
It is. It is. I don't know. 2025. I mean, by the end of 2020, if you figure by the end of 2025, it's like 2.5 years. I don't know if you've ever been a part of city litigation or court litigation, but
it's going to take 4.
If litigation is the blocker, I'm not that optimistic, but I agree with you, man. All the other stuff is like, they're like, you got this all day long. We can make these things. Get them in the cities. I wonder what it looks like.
I'm excited about it. I want to try it out. Like, if you've tried it out, you listen to the pod, shoot us a video. We want to see exactly what that looks and feels like. If you're in Austin or San Francisco or Phoenix, go do it today. Send us a video. We'll put it on the Monday pod because we want to see exactly what it looks like.
We need to send AMJ out to find one of these things.
There you go. That's what
we need to send her out and just like go ride around in one of these things. I want to record a podcast in one so bad.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, ask the driver. So what do you think today?
Really?
Really?
You shouldn't say that about Mary Barra, right? Just go for that.
That would be a clutch interview. That'd be a clutch.
It would. I'm trying to think of a segue, but
speaking of being clutch.
Okay. Stop. We'll take that. We'll take that. This story is actually in our daily email today. It's so good. I know. We have a daily email, by the way, which is a lot more fun than this podcast is.
At least
you
can
get it. You can get it at asodu.com. And this is a little article that we pulled from that. It's just a real interesting, unique story, originally covered in Electrek, the website that we refer to sometimes. The Dimmitt Chevrolet team in Clearwater, Florida, is pushing the board of innovation and launched an on-site rooftop solar array that will generate more than 1 gigawatt of energy. Yep. Or is it gigawatt? Is gigawatt an actual thing, or is that just Back to the Future?
I think that's Back to the Future. We're going to go with
that'd be great. I think the word giga in an official term is like somebody got one by, right? 1 gigawatt of energy.
Marketing department snuck that through. Yeah.
So this solar array is going to generate more than 1 gigawatt of energy annually, which is enough to power 750 homes. So they installed over 2,000 panels. It looks unbelievable. And they used leverage some tax incentives. They partnered with a company called Energy Services of America. And this is going to offset 156 tons of CO2 emissions. Here's the more important thing. It will cover 100% of the store's power needs. Fully renewable dealership. Wow. Which is unbelievable, and it's going to pay for itself in under 5 years.
Which
here's this little part.
Unbelievable. That's
5-year ROI.
The dollars on the 5 years on a project like that. That's wild.
I know it. Usually that's like 15 years, 5 years. Right. So between the incentives, the incentives probably had a lot to do with it. We'll dig in a little further. Right. But at the end of every article in our email, we have a little section called Telling It Like It Is. And this is where our writers, Chris or Christy, they put like a little fun take on the news. And here's the Telling Like It Is from this article.
It's classic.
Something about cooling your showroom using solar energy is peak science. Using the sun to battle the sun. I was like, that's
rush emoji, sun versus sun, right
there.
Yeah, because all these showrooms have these massive glass, and it's just like sun beating in, especially in Clearwater.
And it's in Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah, just crushing.
I'd be wearing the no black shirts in Clearwater, Florida.
Yeah, no, and you're doing shorts in the summer for sure, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. I mean, any business that has that much square footage in their rooftop, I think should be thinking this way, right? You think of all the retail establishments that have the opportunity to basically power their stores. And if recouping energy right now, because of the types of tax incentives that are available for solar energy,
get it while it's good, man.
And money, start putting that in the newspaper, get a little earned media and electric, and get a little backlinks action. Hey,
I wonder what their charger situation is at that store. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know, but if I had to guess, they're probably talking about it, or at least installing a few, and they're probably telling some people about it, similar to how they're telling them about the solar panels.
I also wonder, like, there's an element when you take in solar energy, it's like direct current. It stores it as DC energy in a battery, and EVs are powered on DC energy. Your house and other businesses are powered by AC, and just there's a conversion that has to happen from one to the other that actually
Right.
loses efficiency. So I wonder if they have DC energy coming in and DC energy going out, it probably actually makes it go faster and more efficient. I don't know. We're getting, might be too nerdy for a Friday morning, but
could be.
I'll tell you later why I know this. Tell you later.
There you go.
All right. We got one more. We got one more.
Let's speaking of retail stores.
Yeah, and getting nerdy.
Getting way nerdy.
Super nerdy.
A new study by UBS says that 50,000 retail stores are predicted to close due to rising operating costs and an increased move to e-commerce sales over the next 5 years, with specialty retailers such as clothing, consumer electronics, which would be the retail industries hit the hardest. Chains like Walmart, Costco, and Target are expected to do fine in all of this, as well as probably companies like automotive dealerships, because you got cars you got to store and stuff like that,
and you are retailers. They don't mention that, but
exactly. The other opportunity for these larger retailers is they have kind of the ability to fulfill digital orders in a retail space that smaller companies can't keep up with. So it'll be a 5% reduction in the overall stores across the US, which right now sits at about 940,000 stores. And they've also said, they did mention auto parts stores and home improvement are expected to be good on emerging out of this, which makes a lot of sense just because of the type of inventory and the type of research that you want to do around those things. So yeah, Paul, I think what's interesting about this is everybody kind of expected all of this to get crushed during the pandemic and post-pandemic, and we didn't see that happen. But the research is saying, hey, it's going to continue this gradual move toward more e-commerce still. So
there is, in small towns, there is this thing, I don't know if you remember, Christmas 2020, the small stores were jamming in upstate New York. The place that had little shops, they were we're having our best years ever, right? Because people were remember delivery time slowed down. It was hard to get stuff from Amazon, and people flocked back to a lot of these stores here. And so at least anecdotally in this area, it seemed the small shops are on the rise, and then kind of everything snaps back. And, we saw a bunch of retail space disappearing pre-COVID. And then, a lot of smaller operators did have to close. Some came back, some had to close. But I think we're seeing a very similar thing to what we're seeing in retail auto as well, in the sense that there's a consolidation, and the larger groups that can really leverage their ability to get space, their ability to invest
scale
in
operations,
digital platforms, scale operations, get more technologically advanced, deliver and process better. You're seeing that efficiency of scale starting to even take hold in retail automotive. But one thing that this article talks about, I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but it says the importance of stores is increasing. Having a place where people can go, and whether that's to look at a product or to fulfill product from or to pick things up, is actually on the rise. And even digital retailers like Warby Parker and people who have started e-com and then went into brick and mortar are actually still going deeper into brick and mortar. So I think when it comes to retail automotive, in this whole thought of can you order factory direct and all that, I think the reality is this is very clearly paints the picture that people want somewhere to go.
Yes, and I think people are going to be more. They're going to be more just keyed in on whether what their gross profit per square foot is, the efficiency of their retail operation, how they're doing product placement, product sales, and the opportunity to view products where people may or may not be taking delivery, whether it's of consumer packaged goods or smaller retail goods or large retail goods like auto. Whether they're doing that in the retail space or not is yet to be questioned. And I think that's going to be that blend between an e-commerce ecosystem and a brick and mortar ecosystem. But again, the retail brick and mortar is still important, especially because the article says e-commerce sales are only projected to rise to 26% of retail sales by 2028, up from current estimated level of 20%. So that's still only 6% of retail sales are going to happen solely online. So that's a whole 74% that still need brick and mortar experience.
I know. I like going to the store. I like being out and about, especially if I'm buying something big. We're on our way over to the Clubhouse room. All Things Used Cars with David Long. Just download Clubhouse, search All Things Used Cars. Have an amazing weekend. Have an amazing Saturday.
and leave the road.